And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. I'm your host Vic, aka Mr. Never Chill, and this is episode number 66. And of course, I'm joined by my co-host Lunatic Oblivion.
Hey guys, happy Halloween. It is the last day in October and we're
We got
about
one
to hit
more.
November.
We
One
got
more. Sorry, you're right. Tomorrow is the 31st.
tomorrow
I
is
forgot.
Halloween.
Tomorrow's Halloween. But it is a spooky time of the year. We've got a bunch of games playing with different spooky themes, and we also have Call of Duty multiplayer that dropped on Friday here, and that's been pretty spooky.
Yeah, for sure.
Glad to see they patched it though, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were having those troubles when we were trying to play multiplayer together, and at first we thought it was like a cross-play issue, and come to find out, it was just anybody playing in a party was having issues loading into games. It was crashing, sending people back to the dashboard on Xbox. It was just
It was not fun. I played single player fine all on Friday, and then all of a sudden I tried to play in a party, and it was like, two of the three can connect, one can connect, and then all the sweats got on, and I was like, man,
yeah, it's not
this
fun
is
playing
just
by
cancerous,
yourself.
dude. No, like it really isn't.
Right, yeah, so yeah, Modern Warfare 2 though overall to me has been a lot of fun. I put tons of hours into it so far. I mean, I'm already level 36. I have like 4 or 5 guns maxed out already, like level
Mhm.
wise. Like I just been going hard. I'm actually thinking about hopping on after the podcast for sure, but I do want to think about streaming it here soon. I was trying to wait until I actually had a full 6 to stream, but that's been tough to come around for
Nah,
some reason.
yeah, just honestly, I'd just be playing the game with whoever's on and just streaming it, just like we do with any other game. Because honestly, if you can get yourself a nuke on stream, that'd be awesome, even
That'd be
if it's
crazy.
just you.
Yeah, that'd be lit. But
So,
I
Vic,
see.
I see here, yeah, I was gonna actually ask you, there's a new game that came out this week, Marvel Snap, right? Tell
Yeah,
me about this game.
I
So,
forget what.
like, I'm,
Yeah, I forget when it dropped, like the official release date. But I was just like, I kept seeing advertisements for it. I know we kind of covered it like when it was first announced and like it was coming out
yeah,
soon. And I was like, you know what? I'll just give it a try because I don't really play games on my phone. This is clearly just a straight up mobile game, and it's a card game. It's like Pokemon or
mhm,
MTG, but it's different. It's like really quick games. Like you play a game in probably like less than 5 minutes, if that. And like there's no like summoning costs. There's no lands. There's no energies. Like the idea is like each round is how like what level cards you could play. So round one you can only play level one cards, and there's 6 rounds in a game. So that's when you can play like level six is when you can play level six cards, and each one has like different abilities and different like attack
mhm,
strength. But there's 3 different spots on the map that you can put them, and it's because like you're trying to win 2 out of the 3 areas to be able to win the game. So it's whatever team has the most attack points by the end of it, and it's like very strategic. I know like once you unlock a lot of crazier cards and you get further into the game, it can there's a lot of strategy to it. But right now it's just like I'm just steamrolling kids. Like it's not even fair, and honestly leads to some of the issues that we were going to talk about in the industry news, but I was talking about it now. Is people are having bot paranoia because they're wondering like, am I playing real people or am I playing bots? And it's really hard to tell like tell about it at all. Like when you first play the game, you play through like tutorial missions, you can clearly tell they're bots. Like they have like specific names, like they're bots. But then you get into like the regular matchmaking, and they're like different usernames. But are they bots or are they real people? So that's just the issue. Um, but overall, I've been having fun with it, and interesting enough, my coworker Sire, I got him hooked, and he's been playing every day, all day long, whether it's at work, on his
mhm.
not even on his lunch, he'll just be on the clock, just playing that shit while he's working. Like it's, you don't really got to pay attention too much to it, but just
Okay.
it's an overall fun game, honestly, and it's been reviewing really well. 8 out of 10 roughly, so it's been pretty solid.
Yeah, Steam gave it a 9 out of 10 I'm seeing here, and Google Play has a 4.3 out of 5. So it looks like it's doing okay for a game. But I know like Marvel games don't really miss, it seems. Like it just they have a lot of good tabletop games is what I want to say. Marvel games do miss.
Yeah,
Let's just
Marvel
oh,
Avengers, we can't forget
yeah,
about that
yeah,
one.
yeah. But what I meant is like their tabletop style games do miss. Like or don't miss. Like they have the Heroes game where you buy little miniatures and you fight them on a board.
Mm,
Then there's a newer one that came out, I believe, that's it's more like Warhammer, so you get like squads of different heroes, villains, and anti-heroes.
yeah.
So, but like I find that Marvel tabletop games do a really good job of making something successful.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Honestly, I mean, I think it's something that's up your alley. Like you're really big into card games, and this is something
Hmm.
that you can just kill time with if you just want to play a couple matches in like 5-10 minutes, and you'll be good.
That's cool. And it looks here you also have something else mentioned, like how well this game did in its first week alone.
Yeah, $2 million. It's generated $2 million, which is
That's
insane
pretty
because it has
interesting.
microtransactions. Like you can buy cards and special editions of the cards and stuff like that. So people are really spending time and money into
Yeah,
this
that
game.
seems like quite a bit of money just for a card game that kind of went mostly unspoken about. Like
Pretty
we
much.
watch advertisements all the time for mobile games, and like we're not going to mention the big one here because like we're not sponsored by them, but like this is one of those games that I've never seen an advertisement for. Never once heard about it. The only reason we really talked about it was because we talked about it here on the podcast.
Right.
So I'm surprised to see it did so well, and it is doing so well.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those surprises of 2022, and
Hmm.
it goes to show like just some small games like this can just have such a big impact as long as it's done really well. Like they literally, they even one of the features that they even try to focus in on was the whole mulligan thing, because like most Pokemon or Magic, like you can have a mulligan because you draw a shitty hand, or whatever. But they made it so like they got rid of that feature because everybody has a card called Quicksilver, the hero
Hmm.
Quicksilver, and he's a level 1 character that can be played, and his ability is you draw it first on your first turn plus your normal draw, so like you
Hmm.
get that card automatically, so you'll never have to mulligan ever, and that just makes the games go by really smoothly.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. So there is no mulligan period, though.
Not at all.
Interesting. That's very interesting, actually. Talking about small games that went by, with like just super small games that did really, really well. Right now, there's a game that's 10 out of 10 on Steam that I picked up on Game Pass because it's free right now.
Hmm.
Vampire Survivors. Just like this is a small indie game that I picked up this week that is made by one guy by himself, and it just dropped the full version this month. I think it was 2 weeks ago. It dropped on the 20th as a full version and
Hmm.
is actually pretty cool. It's a game that I'm working to try and beat all the levels, and it kind of dips your toe in, and it seems like there's not much to it. But then after you get through like the first level for a little bit, it's like, oh, here's all the levels that you can unlock. Then there's hidden levels, there's hidden characters. Like you're like, oh, there's only four characters. You start playing, it turns out they just keep adding them in, and the whole game, you just unlock the whole game by playing it.
Yeah,
That's it. There is no microtransactions. It's literally just play.
this looks like a very interesting game. It looks like it's a Game Boy Advance esque style game.
It's it's a auto battler. It's essentially an auto battler with the mechanic for the player being that you're supposed to dodge and move around the map and trying to find power-ups and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can't believe this game's been out for almost a year from its initial release back on December 17th of 2021.
Yeah, and it went so under the radar, but it is literally a 97% upvote out of 100% of like out of 124,000 people to review this game on Steam, only 2% of them said it was bad.
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm seeing it here. 10 out of 10 on
Yeah,
Steam,
dude.
like you said. 4.9 out of 5 on itch.io, and IGN gave it a 7 out of 10. Sometimes they can be tough on their ratings, but seems like a pretty solid game.
Yeah, no, definitely.
What about the
I
other one
also
though that you actually beat already? It just dropped, and you
actually
beat
beat
it.
two
Yeah.
this week.
So, a Plague Tale Requiem. What's your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts, I guess, overall, without spoiling it?
Um, until like honestly, I didn't care for Amicia's character this time through. Like I felt like her character kind of was shitty at first
Hmm.
until she got like punched in the fucking face, and then all of a sudden her personality changed, and I was like, wow, all you had to do was give her a concussion and she's now palatable. Like I hated her character, and then some dude punches her in the face and she's just like, I'm
Okay.
okay now, and you're like, the fuck is wrong with this? I didn't care for the ending, but I will say that it left it up with the post-credit scene. They left a post-credit scene that leaves the game open for a third game
Okay.
that could be in modern times.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So the game was pretty cool. Stick around after the credits, like you can once you stick around afterwards, it like ends with a really cool scene that sets it up for potentially a third game set in the modern era. So I'm really excited. It was fun. Honestly, it just I didn't care for some of the ways it played, but
Yep.
it felt like they wanted to make sure that you had everything from the last game. So like you started out with only a few of your things,
Yeah.
and then within the first like half an hour of the game, they're like, "Here's all of your stuff back," and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
That which
that's
which
cool."
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because it felt a little rough that like you're going through and you're like, okay, why don't I have the ability to do half the things I used to do? And it's like they're
Hmm.
all there right away. And I was like, okay.
Right.
It felt like it was a nice way to sort of inch everyone back into the game again.
Right. I'm curious to see is how this is actually going to play out for the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order sequel, Survivor,
Mhm.
because like I hope like if Cal Kestis is still the main character in this one, which it looks to be, like all of those Force abilities and stuff that I learned in Jedi Fallen Order, like I hope I have those in Jedi
Yeah.
Survive, and like I learn new stuff as that goes on. Like
Yeah, that's like the biggest thing with games is like I finish the game, I go to the next one, your character's like, what did I do? I don't remember how to do this stuff. And it's like, dude, what the fuck happened? Did you get a concussion?
right, you just completely forget everything that you learned.
Dude gets some amnesia, and you're like, okay, game two, let's go.
Right. Another game though that you beat this week as well was Modern Warfare 2's campaign. I'm about maybe a quarter of the way through it. I stopped at the AC-130 mission, but what were your overall thoughts from this campaign?
Well, they set it up for the third one, so I honestly, I just so each mission is different as you kind of figured out and we talked about. So like every time you hit a mission, it they change up the formula. They're like,
Mhm.
okay, this one is gonna be you're playing as this character, you have to be stealthy, or you're playing this mission, now you're doing an AC-130. Oh, you're in this mission, you're just jumping from, skyscrapers and vehicles and doing all this silly stuff, and you're like, okay, it's cool. Like they keep the gameplay fresh and interesting, but it did feel like a montage roll of all their best gameplay mechanics that they've
Yeah.
had over the years. So like I was like, okay, I'm not getting the Call of Duty I once loved, which is like that being on the ground, being in a firefight. Like there were some of those missions, and then there were like other missions where I'm sitting here playing like a strategy game where I'm like telling somebody where to go and clicking on a map,
Yeah.
and they're like going up and doing the fight, and it's like what?
Yeah.
Like, what are these?
I know
So
that
some,
there's a mission I know I haven't gotten to, but I've seen it because it's setting up the whole DMZ mode where you actually have to collect stuff and craft in the campaign. Like you have to craft
yes.
weapons and equipment. What was your take on that? Because that was a completely different take on a
Yeah,
Call
and
of Duty.
I was like, oh my God, I'm literally playing like The Last of Us right now here, just like sitting there putting stuff together. I'm like, goddamn mad scientist in a
Right.
corner while getting shot at. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, not knowing, like, stepping back for a moment and not thinking about the fact that I was literally in that moment doing those things and I wasn't thinking about the DMZ mode, I was like, oh, I can see why they were trying to test the waters with the campaign.
Hmm.
I hated it. I
Yeah.
honestly I thought it was cool, but like it ruined the Call of Duty experience for me
Right.
because instead of running around and doing the Call of Duty thing you do, I'm sitting there playing fucking Minecraft Call of Duty.
All
And I
right.
was like, I don't need to sit here and craft stuff. I want to just shoot some dudes in the face.
Right.
Can I please just shoot some guys in the face?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm really excited to beat it. I've been trying to record it, but like I'm telling you what, dude, it's gonna be hard to upload these videos to YouTube because we talked about it the other day. Like you can't tell when the fucking one mission ends and the other one starts. Like it blends really well. Like they do that phenomenally. I don't think any other game
Yeah.
blends that stuff as good as they do. And don't get me started on the graphics. We all know how impressive these graphics are. Like it's hard to tell if it's even real life or if this is a game half the time. Like the
Yeah.
motion capture is impressive, dude. But that Amsterdam level that everyone has, it's gone viral. I'm like, yo, that's that's insane. This shit is like a
Hmm.
one-to-one replica. Like the graphics, the details, like the rendering, it's all there.
It felt crisp. It felt fun to go through Amsterdam. You're like popping up out of the water and you're just like pulling a guy in. You're like,
For
and
sure.
And also the fact that you can't like sit underwater for 10 minutes and like you're under there for like 10 seconds and your guy's like I'm like, okay, that's like real diving here.
Right.
Dude can't breathe underwater.
Right. Yeah. So that's always good. But we also played some Grounded today, just a little bit more. Today's stream, or not stream, we didn't stream it, but our playthrough was more or less of collecting resources to try and set us up for the
Mhm.
next mission. Um, it was fun. I think once like that was perfect that we were able to get a gas mask and then fight the stink bugs because it makes sense. And then like they didn't seem too overpowered, especially like me and you were just taking them on like it was no big deal.
Yeah, and I know Marshmallow while we were playing, he's like, I'm gonna get other bugs to kill this bug. So he carries the stink bugs over to the anthill, and the stink bug just murders the entire anthill. And he's like, well, that didn't work. And I was like, yeah, like AoE damage murders chumps.
Yeah, yeah, that was crazy because we run back over there to like help him collect the bug parts, and we're like, what the fuck? Like it looks like a
Lady,
massacre.
yeah, dude, Ladybug though, man, they're weak as shit when it comes to like being hit by a bunch of people because all they do is just headbutt somebody, and you're like, wow, what an attack.
What an attack! But yeah, man. So yeah, we definitely played some games this week. I didn't really play too much more than that myself. But let's move on though, man. We got upcoming game releases. It's nothing too crazy, but we can go over them.
Well, let's first start off with what is there anything here that excites you to play?
No, not at all.
Nothing?
Not at
Nothing
all.
this week. No, that makes sense. So this week for me, I gotta be honest, I forgot that this came out, but Square Enix's new game Harvestella comes out on November 4th for both the Switch and the PC, which surprised me. I thought it would be on other consoles, but it's only on the Switch and only on the PC. So I'm excited to check that out. This is a fresh take on the farming simulator game.
Hmm.
So instead of like you dealing with the spring, summer, fall, and winter, you
Okay.
deal with spring, summer, fall, and hell.
Okay.
So instead of winter, demons and like the evil of the world rises up and gets buffed, and it comes to attack you while you're farming. So instead of like the basic formula that so many people use, including Stardew, Harvest, Moon, the Rune Factory, where they have typically like dungeon crawls where you go down into a mine or something of that nature. This one has the whole world is essentially a an RPG world,
Hmm.
and during the winter, instead of winter, it's hell. All these creatures come to attack you during this season, so they all get empowered and they try to destroy you and the village that you're trying to protect. So instead of you going out to fight them, they come to you, and you have to figure out how to fix the world so that this season will never exist again.
Okay.
And I think it's a really interesting take on the farming simulator genre, and it's got me really excited. It comes out on Friday, and I
Hmm.
might actually pick it up day one without watching for reviews because I almost did that on last week's game, Victoria 3,
Yeah.
and I'm glad I didn't.
Right. So, given that the Harvestella is coming out on the Switch and the PC, which system are you grabbing it on?
PC probably. Honestly, it's just gonna run better because like the Switch is throttled, whereas the PC I can crank that shit up to 144 and just enjoy. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, my TV is really crisp and clean, but like the Switch is frame limited, so
Yeah. But I mean, you don't, might not necessarily even need 144 for a game like this. Like 60 FPS is probably really solid for a farming simulator.
yeah, definitely. But it is a combat game as well, so you're playing those RPG
Hmm.
elements of fighting and beating up monsters and stuff.
Right. For sure. But the only other one that's really exciting here, honestly, is just seeing that It Takes Two is coming to the Switch also on the fourth. Like it clearly won Game of the Year last year, and just to see it coming to another platform, to another, it's like a more of a bigger audience, just gives more people a chance to enjoy this wonderful game.
Definitely. And I think there's another cool game that's coming out here that I kind of want to bring mention to is we're getting an update to a next gen update to a game that actually looks really interesting and I think would definitely be for somebody like my wife. There's this game called Endling Extinction is Forever, and it's sort of a story game about foxes. and it's coming to the PS5 now, which is pretty cool. And it's relatively cheap. You explore devastated real world environments as a fox, and you're trying to save your pups whilst, also trying to survive for yourself. And
Right.
I think it looks really cool and it looks really beautiful.
Yeah, I'm checking out the trailer personally because I haven't really seen this too much, but yeah, it definitely looks like a narrative game that's heavy.
Yeah, and it will also be coming to Android and iOS next year, but for now, it's getting its next gen update, so you'll be able to pick it up on the PS5 and Xbox X and S. But if you wanted to play it before this week, you can play it on Switch, PC, Xbox One, and PS4 as of July of this year. So
Okay.
it looks like an interesting game, though.
Right. I
Other
mean,
than that, we have How to Say Goodbye, which comes out on the 3rd, on November 3rd. We have The Chant, which comes out on November 3rd. We have the Entropy Center, which comes out on November 3rd. We have WRC Generations, which is the 3rd. And then we have Demon Throttle, Harvestella, and It Takes Two on the 4th. So it looks like the Switch is getting a bunch of releases this week on the 4th.
yeah, yeah, for sure. It's pretty cool to see. I like the cover for the chant.
Hmm.
Looks pretty
It
cool.
looks really cool. And Devolver Digital's game Demon Throttle looks pretty interesting. It's coming out for the Switch and it's 1 to 2 players, which looks really cool to me. It's like it's kind of like that old-timey Legend of Zelda feeling, but it's with 2 players. So you're fighting all these sort of Legend of Zelda style bosses. And when I say Legend of Zelda, I mean like the original Legend of Zeldas
Yeah, that's
and
what I
not
was
like the
thinking.
modern ones. So this looks like the OG. And even the graphics, like take a look at the graphics if
Yeah, I
you have a
saw.
chance to our viewers. Demon Throttle is the game. It looks really like it is a throwback and it looks good. Like it just feels good as a throwback. Like yeah, the graphics are, 8-bit, but like they look fun and interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, other than that though, I mean, WRC generations like that rally car racing is fun for like a day and then that's about it.
I'm like, when I saw it, I was like, what the fuck even is this? And I was like, oh, it's rally car? Okay,
Yeah.
that's not very cool.
Yeah, cuz like there's like a bunch of them out. Like you got WRC, you have Dirt. Like those are the two big ones, but I'm sure
Mhm.
there's a bunch of knockoffs that come and go. But if I really want to play rally cars, I'll just hop on Forza Horizon 5 and do some rally
Yeah,
races on there.
exactly. Like there are I think Horizon does such a good job. Like it doesn't have the same exact feeling you may look for in a rally car racing game, but
It's
it
close,
has
yeah.
it's close.
Yeah.
So let's move on to industry news for the week. So we don't have very much news across all of our stuff. It's a pretty short week. So, but it looks like industry news, there's quite a few things going on here. First being that I put this in here because it's something I just wanted to notify people. The new NVIDIA 40 series, you want to be careful because the 40 series currently is having issues with their power cables. The GPU is literally melting the power cable connector for the GPU. So the 16 pin connector or 16 or 12 pin connector is melting. It's literally melting the plastic.
I've never heard of some shit like this, but I hope that shit's covered underneath warranty because
Yeah.
that's an expensive ass graphics card, and then whatever
Well,
else it
and
fucks
and
up
it's not
inside.
even melting the graphics card. It's melting your power cable from your power supply.
Power supply, yeah. Damn. I wonder if it has to require like a certain power supply then.
No, it's just running so hot. It is literally melting the plastic.
Maybe
And
we're
it's
not
like
ready for the 40 cards.
how do you get something approved like this? How does this hit mass market? And I know skeptics out there watching our show and listening to our show are going to tell me, yeah, it's business. This is what they do. They don't fucking care. But it's like, how can you literally find it like, how can you not find these mistakes or decide to just ignore it?
Right.
Like,
Where's the
it,
Q&A in all of this? Like you don't.
where is the government coming in and saying, hey, you're selling faulty products, these products are causing literal house fires. So you
Yeah,
need to now recall these products and refund every bit of money. Like
yeah.
I'm surprised that,
I
you
wonder if
know,
it'll get the same treatment as what Samsung got in trouble for with their batteries and their
yeah,
phones.
where they were literally
Fucking,
going up in flames.
yeah. If people like go to sleep with it charging and it fucking just blows up underneath their head. Like that'd be scary as shit. And
Yeah,
they had to like
dude.
recall all their phones and refund all the money, and then they had to redistribute like another phone later on down the road once they figured out the battery issue.
Hmm.
Sheesh, that's crazy. But
Yeah.
what else is going on in the industry news? It looks like Steam got a new announcement.
Yeah, so Steam is still growing even with Game Pass and other competitors out there on the PC market. Steam just hit a new record for concurrent users. There were 30 million concurrent users this week using Steam for a game at
Yeah,
any given time.
yeah, that's impressive, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
that's more Steam users than there are Game Pass users in general.
Hmm.
Or at least on Xbox, I should say, because that's the only number we got is about 20. I think they're saying
We don't get the PC Game
yeah,
Pass numbers because that shit's probably huge.
yeah. Who knows what that number is?
And they can't let that out for the Activision Blizzard merger. That would
No,
tank their whole argument.
for sure.
But tell us about Xbox.
Yeah, man. Xbox's hardware sales are up 13% between the periods of July and September, and that just goes to show that the system's not slowing down, and the whole um, supply chain constraints are starting to loosen up a little bit better, and they're starting to see a much more increase in their sales, which is good. And most of these sales are Xbox Series S, because whether you like it or not, like people who are diehard Xbox fans are going to get the Series X. But those who can't afford the X or are just PlayStation users or PC users and want an Xbox are going to get the Series S and go and grab Game Pass. Like it's the best deal in gaming. You get a $250 console with a Xbox Game Pass membership, you're set.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Yeah,
makes
it's
sense.
super easy. And it goes to show that the fact that they didn't raise their price gave them a bigger share of the market. Like it was a really smart choice by them, and I think a really dumb choice by Sony to change prices midstream.
Right, and actually, I think we were going to cover it later on. Actually, this next part I can talk about here with Xbox and Activision Blizzard. Before I get to the Activision Blizzard part, Phil Spencer also did come out to say that they do plan to raise prices, whether it's the consoles or Xbox Game Pass. There's no confirmation on which or both or what's going on, but there are increases. But they're waiting until after the holiday season because it why mess up the consumer and in detriment their own sales during the holiday season. Makes sense.
Why
Let's wait.
try to throttle your sales right before Black Friday gets here? Why not wait? But in the end, it's like, okay, so guess what? Microsoft, even though they whipped their dick out, threw it on the table, they still were like, actually, we're still gonna do it and fuck you.
Yeah,
Sorry, bend over. Like,
yeah,
so it does suck because Microsoft talks a big game, but then they can't walk the walk.
right. Well, I mean, hopefully they're not raising the prices of the consoles, and hopefully it is just raising the prices of Game Pass because, I mean, come on now, it's been $15 for how long? And the value just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The acquisition of Bethesda, if Activision Blizzard comes through, like it makes sense to raise the prices, just like how they raise the price for Netflix or Disney Plus or Hulu. They add more content to the thing, you get better content. Well, guess what? We got to raise the prices as well. So it's
Yeah,
just the business
I
model
get
that
that.
makes sense.
I get that, but they're still steadily increasing the members. Like their memberships are just growing exponentially, and I think at some point we got to say, "Whoa, why do we need a bigger price on Game Pass?" Like I think it's a little unnecessary, but
Hmm.
hopefully we'll see the family plan come out before then.
Right, right, and hopefully we don't see a drastic increase in that price either, because that's
Yeah,
supposed to be
like
about
it's
25. I think is what the price that we saw.
yeah, and now they're going to be like, "Oh, it's 30," and then regular Game Pass is 20, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But to touch on the Activision Blizzard part, Phil Spencer wanted to reiterate, I guess, and state that Microsoft does plan to treat Call of Duty like Minecraft, and because they want to keep it on all platforms, but they want to come to more platforms that it's not even out on, like the Switch. The Switch, or even a Nintendo console in general, has not saw a Call of Duty title in so long that it would make sense to try and get it on as many platforms as possible. And clearly, if they're adding cloud versions of games, why not add a cloud version of Call of Duty to the marketplace?
Hmm.
It only makes sense.
And with the crafting system, it makes sense. It's now Minecraft.
Yeah, it's Minecraft. Just
Call of Duty Minecraft.
yeah, it makes sense. So like that's pretty cool. Like I like that insight into that they're not trying to make this exclusive. They probably
Hmm.
will add it to Game Pass, so it makes people more appealing to want an Xbox because you don't have to buy 70, 80, $100 edition of Call of Duty. It's fucking free, and you get exclusive other stuff. Interesting enough, but touch on some other news here with Apple and Nintendo though. The NES, Super NES, the N64, and the Sega Genesis controllers will work on Apple devices that have the latest iOS 16.1 update, and these are the wireless edition of these controllers that came out for the Switch that you can play all of the old classic games with. So it's not like
Okay.
you can plug and play those old controllers into an iPhone or an iPad. I mean, there's
You
probably
have to
some way
have a
to do it,
game that's supported.
right? But it is pretty cool to see that all of those controllers will be supported on Apple devices because that means
Mhm.
you'll have all of those. I think we talked about it before. The Switch Joy Cons are playable on the iPhone and the iPad. The PS5, PS4, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series S and X controller are also compatible with the Apple products. So it's like whatever controller you want to play with, go for it, which is cool
Mhm.
because we know how big the mobile market is and everyone has a preference on what controller they like. But Roger, I know you've been playing a lot of Overwatch here, and I know you're kind of feeling the same way here. We kind of talked about it the other day with the issues with Overwatch.
Yeah, so players are currently kind of up in arms about the cost of all the different content for Overwatch right now. They're kind of upset that we're seeing skin bundles that are, very predatory. Like the fact that to buy the new Kiriko skin, you had to buy the bundle, which is like $26. So you can't buy $20 of coins and $5 of coins. You have to buy 20 and 10 or 20 and two fives. And at that point, you're spending so much money on these skins. And it's so much to spend on one skin and you can't get it individually. You have to buy a bundle. So it's like we're struggling with this idea of why is it so much? And then to make matters worse, we also see the price of a charm to put on your gun costs more to buy the digital version than to buy a physical item from the Blizzard store. It costs $5 to buy the keychain on the Blizzard merchandise store. It costs $7 and like 60 cents, I think it was, to buy the charm for your gun in game.
Right, and again, it comes back to that same issue that you were just talking about the skins. You can't buy $7 worth of the in-game currency. You have to buy two fives or
And
a 10 to spend seven. It almost makes me wonder, like, when do games just get rid of in-game currency and just I want this charm. It's $7. I use my card and I spend $7.
yeah, and like the other thing that also bothers me is it kind of feels like it's Activision Blizzard and the industry's way of saying, fuck you. If you don't like loot boxes, we're gonna fuck you instead. And it's like I feel like I'm getting throttled
Yeah.
and like bent over because we said we didn't want loot boxes, but at the same time, Activision Blizzard had good loot boxes. Like they did it right, and like I never felt like I was being attacked. It was people who had gambling addictions that were the problem, and people who like we're not talking about CS:GO here. CS:GO is actually predatory. That is a problem. But we're talking about Overwatch that gives you free loot boxes. These loot boxes you do not need to pay for. You do not need to buy a key to open it. The loot box is 100% free. You just had to play.
Right.
CS:GO, for example, you have to play, earn the loot box, then buy a key for $2.50 to open the loot box to only find out you got a skin worth 10 cents.
Marshmallow here has a good point though. Like the fact that they moved away from the original Overwatch, which was paid, you had to buy that game for $60, which gave away free skins via loot boxes, to a
Yeah.
new free-to-play model. So they still have to make money. So I get it, but it's just like where's the balance at? Like if the game's free to play, obviously they have to have cosmetics, but like why can't they do the cosmetics like Call of Duty? Like they have $4
And
bundles, $5
it
bundles, like. Make it
Yeah,
more
it
affordable.
feels more like we're playing a mobile game than a real game when it comes to cosmetics. Like mobile games are that gotcha model, and that gotcha model is really predatory. It's really bad for you, but like in this, there's no free way to get any skins anymore. Like even in mobile games, you still get stuff for free. You get free summons or whatever they're called in the game you're playing. You get free versions, but in Overwatch, you don't get that anymore. You still have to buy a battle pass, and to get the free champion every battle pass, you have to get 55 levels in the battle pass.
Yeah. Well,
And
at least
then
on
the
the battle pass,
skins,
they have the free parts of the battle pass that you don't have to buy. But there's
there's
like
only
what
one.
five? Is there only one? I thought there was at
Only
least
one
five.
on the Overwatch, I believe, and it's the only thing that's free on that. It might be one per tier, but the only thing that's truly free in the Battle Pass is the Kiriko at level 55. So, but if you buy the Battle Pass and you get Kiriko right away instead of having to hit level 55 if you buy the Battle Pass.
Yeah.
And then at level 55 you get something that's locked behind the Battle Pass. So it is a little predatory there,
Hmm.
but like the prices are unreal.
Right. Fortnite did it really well. Like at the beginning of the battle pass, like you got that new big character that they came out with, and at the end of the
Mhm.
battle pass, you got like variants of that character or like a special edition of that character, but you still got the initial character
But
for
like
free up
that
front.
character didn't have any
Yeah.
special effects.
Right.
It
Right.
was
Yeah.
just cosmetics. We're now also talking about that you're locking a playable character behind 55 levels of a battle pass. And if you buy the battle pass, you get double experience. I only just completed the battle pass like 4 weeks in, 3 weeks in here. And that was with like double experience from buying the battle pass.
Right. Well, they want people to play the game, and that's just a way of making people play the game a lot. If you want that
Yeah.
character, you have to grind. You have to put in that
And
work. But like
and
we
the
had
only way
this,
to get go ahead.
I was just saying we had this conversation before. Is what happens when this battle pass ends? Can you no longer get Kiriko?
No, you can. That's what we're talking about now, because like new players, we're assuming the player base is assuming that new characters are going to come about the same way that Kiriko that old characters did. So when you are a new account, you actually get levels towards character unlocks, and you unlock characters in a specific order, and that new character will just be added to the end. So I believe Echo was the newest character before Overwatch 2 dropped. So, um, after Echo, Kiriko will be the next champion you unlock from just playing.
Okay, that makes sense. At least they're making it so once you miss the battle pass, SOL, or you have to buy it for $50 later on when it comes back into the
Yeah,
eShop.
no. It'll be just the character gets added on to the end. But
Right.
like it's insane. And some of these skins and stuff that are currently out, the only way to get them is to get them through bundles, or you have to like go into your character shop and go into the skins inside your collection, and then you'll notice that a skin that says available in the shop sometimes will become available to you to buy there without the bundle.
That's
But you
too
have to go there.
convoluted.
You can't look in the shop to buy it.
Yeah, that's a bit much for sure. But another company that actually I think made a really smart move here and kind of went away with from the whole monetization of their game, which surprised me, was the Moonbreaker game, where it was like that in-game like tabletop game where you can have like your miniatures that you can actually paint and stuff like that.
Yep.
They're removing microtransactions and monetization altogether, and
Good.
I'm
It
surprised.
should just be a paid game.
Yeah, which is awesome though. Like that means like I guess you'll just unlock new stuff just by playing the game, like a battle pass system or challenges like Call of
Mhm.
Duty, which makes sense. So that was a pretty surprising news, especially to go against Overwatch's overpriced cosmetics that's going on here.
Definitely. So, Vic, moving on to gaming news here. So it seems Apex Legends is starting its next season. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, man, this is actually a pretty big season for Apex Legends, season 15, which is arriving November 1st, so this Tuesday. It's right around the corner. It coming out with a new map called Broken Moon. This map is the home world of Seer and the new agent that's coming called Catalyst. On this map, you'll see new mobility, I guess, is called zip rails, which are similar to the zip lines that you could use from oh fuck, what's the character's name? I don't play Apex enough, but the robot dude who can shoot the zip lines and go across. But these ones
Mhm.
here you can move quicker on, but people know you're moving on them because they're like really loud, I guess, and like there's a projected path like every single time. So like
Mhm.
there's positives and negatives, so it balances it. Also, the point of interest on the map are going to be a lot larger, so they're trying to eliminate like certain specific hot zones. So like not everybody wants to land at the same location. So like you can land, loot, and then start battling. So
Mhm.
that's a pretty cool change there. But in regards to the new legend called Catalyst, mind you, this is also the first transgender character within the Apex Legends world, and it's voiced by Melly Grant. Just for to cover that part of it. But new Catalyst's abilities, their passive is Barricade. Catalyst can reinforce doors with her ferro fluid, making them harder to destroy, which is the first time we've seen something like this, like being able to reinforce walls or doors in this instance. So if you need to reinforce a door and shield up or whatever, you can revive your teammate. That'll give you a little bit more time to do so. But their tactical is called Piercing Spikes. Catalyst can set up a ferrofluid trap, slowing enemies caught in it. So it kind of reminds me of like I guess Sage's orb that slows people down more or less. But I wonder if this
Mhm.
does any damage because it just says slows enemies. And if it spikes, I'm like, well, wouldn't that do damage too? But we'll see once that comes out. And their ultimate ability is called Dark Veil. Catalyst can erect a tall and wide wall of ferrofluid, blocking vision and scans, blinding enemies that walk through it. So that seems pretty cool to see. I'm really eager to see if they become meta or not, and we'll see how the
Okay.
even like the shoot to win team will tell me about it. And last but not least, though, in season 15, they are adding the ability to add stickers to healing items. So like the shield jar or the healing syringe, you'll see like different cool little stickers on
You
it.
can
Like
customize it now, like they
yeah,
did with the bomb in CS:GO.
yeah. So it's
You can
like
finally.
it's cool, I guess. Like I don't know,
Mhm.
people that love cosmetics, and that's a good thing. But me, where I'm just like, eh, okay, like that's something I wouldn't want to really care about. That's just me, personally. But man, I just Apex Legends just seems really cool. But it's just like a game that it's too sweaty, way too fucking
You
sweaty.
have to put in a lot of hours.
Right. I mean, I guess it's like Valorant, because Valorant, like before I put in a lot of time, I was pretty trash at it. It seemed really sweaty, but then we got really good. And of course, we run into sweats, but it's
Yeah.
definitely a different take on the game than what it was initially. But
Mhm.
nonetheless, though, moving on here, we got the Callisto Protocol. Roger, what's going on with this game here?
Okay, so we have the Callisto Protocol here. The Callisto Protocol actually got its release in Japan canceled. So it turns out that the game is too gory for Japan.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, we've all seen the gameplay from it, and it's just like, okay,
Like
yeah,
Japan was like, nah, this is too much. And
and
I was like, what?
and we don't see that too
No.
often. Like, how often do we hear about a game getting completely altogether canceled in a country due
Yeah,
to
no,
gruesome?
definitely. No, and that was one of the weirdest things I think to me is the fact that Japan, the home of tentacle porn, was like, that's a little much, guys. I'm sorry.
Right. And honestly, I'm surprised like the Callisto Protocol didn't like implement like a filter or something like that. Like that you would turn off like certain like the whole like grounded thing. Like people were afraid of spiders, where you can basically turn spiders off and they turn into like little balls or
Mhm.
whatever with eyes. Like they couldn't come up with something creative to cover that up. I guess I don't
Yeah,
know.
it just seemed like an interesting choice that they were like, there's too much blood and gore. Like Paradox, for example, this is one of my favorite things to talk about when we talk about how games do editing and control of content well. In the EU, to comply with Germany, you're not allowed to show Hitler or a representation of him.
Oh yeah.
How do you have a World War II game about with Germany in it without having Hitler in it? So what Paradox does is they actually do one of those almost like what they do with witness protection when they come on and do interviews with witness protection, they block them all out so they're
Oh yeah.
completely black and they change their voice. Well, in Paradox, all they do is they black out Hitler. So they're not showing Hitler so they can sell the game in the EU.
Hmm.
I'm surprised that they didn't have a way to say, okay, let's see if we can tone down some of the blood, the gore
Yeah.
for Japan. But then again, maybe doing that will cost them too much money and it's just not worth. They're not going to make as much as they would to put in to do it.
Hmm.
So,
Like they couldn't make it so like if when someone died, instead of it being like all bloody and gory, it just like just disappears, like goes into like a puff of cloud of smoke or something. Like I feel like it'd be something real simple like that. Yeah, it would probably look weird, but it would just make it make it so they can buy that game. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, and exactly, Marshmallow. There are other games that just turn off gore or blood. Like, I believe it's also the EU. You're not allowed to have blood in video games, so they turn off blood. Like in the EU, you literally can kill people and there's no blood spray or anything like that.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, it's quite interesting what America allows that other people don't.
Yeah, we're just like, meh. You can see and do whatever you want.
Hmm.
But moving
But
on here, though, we got multiverses. I don't know if anybody went out and see the movie, but Black Adam has arrived in multiverses, along with the new arcade mode, which is like a single player mode that allows you to play through levels that are just like different characters battling each other in like similar universes, or I don't know. It's I guess similar to Smash's single player mode is what I'm getting out of this. I don't really know too many other details, but Roger, does this interest you at all? I know you were playing multiverses a little bit here and there.
honestly, I'm excited for a single player mode because it allows me a chance to play the game and just have fun with it. Because honestly, multiverses got really sweaty and you were fighting all the same team comps all the time. Like, oh, great, another Superman.
Another bugs.
Oh, Bugs Bunny is back again. It's like it gets really repetitive really fast, and it was just I needed some other way to play the game other than sitting there and fighting, oh, a double giant Iron Giant team. Or look, it's Velma and Iron Giant. Guess I lose.
Right, and it doesn't allow you to play with other characters because you're like, well, if I don't play as this character, I'm not going to be able to compete.
Yeah, there's just characters that are definitively better. And don't get me wrong, that happens with a lot of fighting games, but even there's a ton of fighting games where people make it so that they will put in the time and the effort to make other characters better. But at the end of the day, you still can do power-ups for characters and you can still build the character the way you want. And like you can just make some really disgusting unplayable against combos.
Right.
Like all you have to do is just build the character with the stats that work for what you want.
It makes sense. Moving on though, Roger, I know we used to play this game a lot. Deep Rock Galactic. They got some news announcement here. I know some people in our stream here that's watching is also interested in
Yeah,
this.
shout out to Marshmallow here, but if you weren't aware, Deep Rock is having its new season, season 3. It's called Plaguefall. It's a highly transmissible disease called rockpox. You'll also find that the game has a new performance pass, which is a new 100 tier battle pass, and 4 new grenades that are usable. And it drops on November 3rd.
Yeah, this week. So I mean, I guess there's some stuff to look forward to this week, like Deep Rock
Mhm.
Galactic new season, Apex Legends new season. So not necessarily game releases, but game updates seems like a pretty solid week.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting week. It's not like we've got big releases, but we have some cool stuff coming.
Right. Well, speaking of big releases, I know you dropped this into it, but Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord had an announcement.
Yeah. So Mountain Blade Bannerlord 2, finally after 2 or 3 years in development, it may have been even more than that. It finally got its full release. So Mountain Blade Bannerlord 2 or Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord is a full game now. So the full game release, it has multiplayer, single player. They'll continue to improve the game, but it is the final edition.
Yeah. It looks like the initial release was March 30th of 2020, so a little over 2 years.
Yeah, no. So it's been in works for a while, but we're finally gonna get to see the full release.
Right, and I see here that the first game was came out in 2008, so it was 12 years in between releases. That's a long time.
And the first game got rolling updates too. That's the other thing. It got changes and expansions and other stuff over the years that it had been out.
Hmm.
But now we're gonna see Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, hopefully start to get those same sort of quality of love that we got in the first game. Those, we want to go see us go do something else. We want to go somewhere else. We want to do something else. Like, hopefully, we're gonna see the game come better.
Yeah, for sure. Man, there was a big announcement this week that kind of
Yeah.
came out of left field.
Yeah, dude, I beat The Witcher, and then they were like, "Okay, we're now gonna do an official remake, the full remake of Witcher, the original Witcher game in Unreal Engine 5." So like, that's crazy to me that they're just going to re-release the full complete game as a remake in Unreal Engine 5.
Right, and that happened to you with The Witcher, but that happened to me with Alan Wake. I went and beat
Yeah.
Alan Wake 360 version. They're like Alan Wake remastered. I'm like, fuck me.
You gotta be fucking me, dude.
Right,
Like, it's like I beat it this year, and then they're like, okay, now we're gonna release a remake.
right. And I
And
thought it was gonna
it's not
happen.
a remaster either. It's
Right.
a remake.
Yeah.
So they're going to rebuild the game.
Yeah, which is incredible, especially using Unreal Engine 5, which me and you both know, we're both excited for that to see games that are released with that engine. But
Hmm.
this almost happened with me too with I beat Assassin's Creed 1 this year and there was like leaks and rumors like, "Hey, there might be an Assassin's Creed 1 remake." And I'm like, "Fuck, of course. Like I just beat it."
Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be?
Yeah, exactly. That's usually how it works. But actually, because you know how CD Projekt Red just had that announcement though, of like, hey, we got all these new Witcher games coming out. Like, is this one
They
of
did
them
it in
that's
the wrong
included?
order.
Right? Is this like included in those games that they announced, or is this something
I
completely different?
I hope not, and I hope it doesn't take away from the because this isn't going to be a part of the Witcher trilogy. So I don't think it is because we've got an unannounced game, we've got the expansion for Cyberpunk, and we have a brand new Witcher trilogy. So I believe this they're not remaking the whole trilogy. It's a brand new trilogy. So this I think is just an additional project on the side because they'd like the players who want to continue. Like I think they're trying to make the Witcher series into a better thriving series because I think a lot of players out there want to play Witcher 1, but the game is dated. It is very dated and it is very, very rough.
Yeah, and actually, I'm looking it up here. This one is actually being developed by Fool's Theory on Unreal Engine 5. So CD Projekt Red is actually not developing it, but they will have
Hmm.
obviously their eyes on it. Will be involved with the project. But if I'm not mistaken, who were they known for? They were known for something recently too of a remake or a certain release. I'm about to look it up real quick. Um,
Fool's Theory Studio has on their site that they're doing the Witcher remake, and they also did Baldur's Gate 3,
and it looks like their main game that they did was
Outriders.
Seven the Days Long Gone was their actual
They're
game.
also part of Outriders, so that's
Yeah,
another thing too. So
yeah.
they're a minor studio that plays a part with a bunch of bigger studios. So like they helped Larian Studios who made Baldur's Gate 3. They helped with People Can Fly to make the level design and meshing and programming support. So they're kind of a studio that kind of comes in to help.
Hmm.
But in this case, they're actually doing the full remake themselves. So this is like their first individual project, in addition to another RPG that they're making on their own.
Yeah. So that's pretty awesome to see, and this is just additional content for the Witcher series. So it's awesome. Which I don't know
Hmm.
if anybody saw, but the Witcher season 4 was announced, and they're moving away from Henry Cavill.
Yeah, they dropped Henry Cavill. I believe
It's
he
Liam
he
Hemsworth.
got into a fight.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, they had a dispute, not like a physical punch each other out, but there was a difference of ideas, and they moved away from Henry Cavill, and I think I've kind of given up on the show now. I liked Henry Cavill. Like Henry Cavill's really cool, and I have never heard a bad thing about him. Like he's not a bad guy, but like I guess something happened on the set.
Yeah, and they got Liam Hemsworth is who's playing um, the new Geralt. So we'll see how that
Yeah.
plays out.
Eh, nothing special about this guy.
Right. But moving along here, though, we got some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 news, and this first part here, actually, I just added right before we went live. The museum map that we saw from the Modern Warfare 2 beta is actually not potentially going to return in Modern Warfare 2, and I actually completely forgot about it. And they weren't given permission to use the in real life location known as the Getty Museum, and there was legal action that has taken place. So we will probably not see it. And it's interesting because this isn't the first occurrence in this game. The Grand Prix map, which is called, I forget what it's even called in the game now, but the map was called Grand Prix. And then they were like, "No, you can't call it that, bro. Like you're using copyrights. Like we have that copyright, and you didn't ask for permission." They were like, "Fuck, and we got to change the name of it." So it's just like, who is in charge here? Like, did they not look into any of this stuff?
Activision
Blizzard,
Blizzard's in
yes,
charge.
yeah, that's it's mind
Wow,
blowing,
we
right?
figured it out, guys.
Hey, that was quick.
Who would have thought?
But we did get some insight though into PlayStation's exclusivity this time around for this game, and they get a battle pass bundle bonus. So people who buy the battle pass bundle, which you get 20 tier skips, you get an additional 5, so you'll have a total of 25. You also get double XP points, which are just exclusive double XP days or months monthly, which lasts about 24 hours long. You'll get combat packs, which are free in-game bundles each season that includes operator skins, weapon blueprints, emblems, and much more. And then you also get a PlayStation Party bonus, so players who are playing in parties receive a 25% increase of weapon XP. And then, last but not least, they get 2 additional slots for their loadouts. So instead of 10, they'll have 12. So it's just like it's interesting to see get PlayStation get all this exclusive stuff for Call of Duty, but they're making a big deal about Call of Duty being exclusive for Xbox. It's
Well, the
interesting.
thing is, they're worried because, like,
They're going to
when this
lose out on
ends,
this.
yeah, that when they lose out on this, why would anyone play Call of Duty on PlayStation? Like, even I'm sitting here playing on PC and I'm like, man, maybe I should just play on my console.
On the
Like, holy
PS5,
shit.
right?
Yeah, dude, play on the fucking PS5. This shit's awesome.
Right. So that was pretty cool to see that insight in regards to that. But Roger, what's going on in the PlayStation world though? We had a couple of news.
So one of the coolest things is Naughty Dog and PlayStation Visual Arts are working on a new unannounced game, and this is the same duo that brought us The Last of Us.
Yeah, which is exciting.
Yeah,
Is
like
this Last of Us
honestly,
Part 3 or is it a
it's The
new
Last of Us
IP?
Part 1 that they worked on, but this is a new IP that we're going to be seeing. It's a new unannounced game. So I'm excited. This
Yeah.
is this is honestly, I don't think we need a Last of Us Part 3.
Not yet. I think it's early. I
No.
think we need an Uncharted game though. Like Uncharted is one of PlayStation's pillars, and we
Honestly,
haven't had
it's
an
the
Uncharted game in
series
so long.
ended. That's the thing, though. Nathan Drake's gone. We're done. It's his story's done. We need a new IP, something to breathe life into the series. What if we got a new Jack and Daxter game?
That'd be
Like,
nice.
breathe life into something that hasn't been around. We did it with God of War. God of War, the first God of War remake on like the not remake, but
2016, yeah.
the new series of God of War
Yeah.
reinvigorated the entirety of God of War. It brought it back and it did it well. They can do it again. Just get the right studio.
Right. So that'll be interesting to see that story unfold. But what else in the PlayStation world, man?
So PlayStation Plus free games for November, pretty cool. We get Neo 2, so this is a pretty interesting game. And
Hmm.
then the other two aren't as exciting. We've got Lego Harry Potter collection. So if you're into Lego Harry Potter, make sure you download it. You get it for free, or just at least confirm your $0 purchase. And then the third being Heavenly Bodies, a game I haven't even heard of until today. But this game is actually 10 out of 10 on Steam, which is interesting. It is a platformer, I guess, a platformer in space. So it's a literal 2D space game.
Yeah, it looks like it's a single player game, but it can also be played as local co-op,
Hmm.
which is interesting because most games don't have local co-op like Halo. Um, but yeah, it looks pretty cool though.
Yeah,
Has
people
an
are
interesting art
like,
style.
yeah, Steam's like, if you played Space Engineers and Human Fall Flat, this game's for you. And I was like, okay.
But Neo
So
2 is definitely the big one here. Like that's one of the more popular games from
exactly.
Team Ninja. They got a 9 out of 10. Came out in 2020. Like it's a more recent game. It's an action role playing game, so it's definitely I heard big things about it. I've never played it, but I definitely it's on my backlog.
Yeah, Neo 2 is one of those games. It's kind of like a Dark Souls, but much more challenging in the way that it works. Because I was told the boss fights are a little more intense
Okay.
than some of the Dark Souls is sometimes. So it looks interesting. My friends always asked me to play it, so I might give it a go now that I have it for free.
Right, exactly. You have PlayStation Plus, and you might as well just go confirm your free purchase.
So Vic, now we've heard about PlayStation. Where's Xbox going?
Yeah, so they announced their Games of Gold of November, and it doesn't compete in any way, shape, or form here. We're getting Praetorian's HD remaster, and we're getting a game called Dead End Job, and it sounds like a dead end part of the subscription that needs to end because we're getting some very lackluster titles.
Hmm.
I'll just download them just so I can add it to my collection, but am I ever going to play these games? Probably not. They don't look exciting in any way, shape, or form, and that sucks. But
No, I'm with you here. It just they're handing us like shit Game Pass games and they're like, "Look at this. It's free." And I'm like, "Yeah, you could hand me a turd, say it's free. It's still a turd."
right. So yeah, so outside of that though, there was a bunch of games that are basically owned by Xbox or has some kind of exclusivity coming out here or anything in regards to that. We're going to start it off with a game called The Long Dark. It's currently on Game Pass, but they did recently announce that it's getting a Tales from the Far Territory. It is a 12-month expansion pass campaign that expands the Long Dark survival mode with new regions, story challenges, gameplay systems, and much more. It'll be a $20 DLC purchase, but that's for the entire year. It's not like you're getting like one DLC. Like you're getting the entire 12 months. So that's not a
It's
bad price
it's
tag there.
not like Life is Strange where you had to buy each individual game. This is an entirely new story set in this universe in the Long Dark video game, which is pretty cool.
Have you
But
played
it's
it?
now, yeah,
I've
yeah, I
never.
have. I actually own it. It's very fun, single player only, and it's pretty rough. So the idea behind the game is, um, you're in the frozen northern lands of, I believe Canada. It is there was a geomagnetic disaster, the description says. I wasn't ever sure what happened. I just knew that society collapsed. There are no zombies, nothing like that. It's just you, the cold, and the wildlife in this place. And you start with essentially nothing but the clothes on your back, and you have to go around and try to survive. You have to find items, you have to make it from one level to the next,
Hmm.
and you can have a bunch of different starting points and all these different levels are connected together, but you have to keep yourself going and alive, and you have to make sure you're not outside in the dark, and there are wolves, bears, all these different animals, and you have to kind of hunt and stay alive.
Yeah. The description I see here is The Long Dart is a first person survival video game developed and published by Hinterland Studios. The player assumes the role of a crash landed bush pilot, Will Mackenzie, who must survive the frigid Canadian wilderness after a geomagnetic storm. So it seems pretty cool. I definitely remember adding this to the play later section on Game Pass because it just looked interesting enough. But it's another game that received a 9 out of 10 on Steam, and it's a 96% liked video game on Google. So it seems like it's a really solid game to the gaming industry.
Yeah, no, it definitely looks really good. And the awesome part about this is it just gives another way to play this game. Because, like, we have the Long Dark, so they had the survival mode with the Wintermute story. Now this will be the next expansion DLC on top of that.
Hmm.
But then there was just a survival edition, and then they added, a story on top of that. So it's really cool to see that, like, you can either take the Winter Mute or the Tales of the Far Territory,
Hmm.
and you could play either of them as either the story or the survival mode. And I think it's really cool because I got this game when it was, early subscription and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and it honestly just it played really cool and really well.
yeah. And this update is coming out February 2023, and again, this is a 12-month expansion, so be on the lookout for that. But another one that's getting a surprising update, but it kind of makes sense because it's the 25th anniversary. Fallout 4 is getting a free next gen update both for PC and console, so it's getting the free 4K whole shebang, and that's pretty cool. Coming in 2023, and it's just another way. If you haven't checked out Fallout 4, gives you the game at the highest fidelity, which is
Yeah.
I wish we can get something like this for like say Fallout 3 or New Vegas because I've never played either of those games, and I would rather play them at a higher fidelity because I tried to play Fallout 3 and I'm like, this looks pretty shitty.
Well, it's got a lot going on, so
Yeah,
definitely had its issues, and it's not like, for lack of trying.
right. But another game though, Age of Empires is getting a. They had announced a pretty big update here. It's coming to Xbox Series S and X and cloud with Age of Empires 2, the definitive edition, which is releasing on January 31st of next year, and then Age of Empires 4, which already came out on PC, is coming also in 2023. So two big games for the Age of Empires franchise is coming to console and cloud.
What's crazy is Age of Empires 2 and not 3
Yeah,
is
not
getting
three.
an update.
I
Like,
wonder if that'll
we're
come down the
getting a
road. I guess.
yeah, we're getting a definitive update for the game, so it's interesting.
Yeah. Next up was a game that we kind of covered during the Summer Games Fest was Wolong Fallen Dynasty. It
This
is
shit looks
come.
so good.
It looks really fucking good, dude.
This looks so fucking
It's
good.
coming
I
to.
had to stop you, dude. It looks so good. I'm so excited for this game, and I don't know why. It just looks so good.
Yeah,
Like it's like Dark Souls in that Romance of the Three Kingdoms era, and it feels, it looks and feels smooth from the gameplay I've seen. Now, we all know gameplay isn't always the best example because they usually have their own edition of it, but like I just it looks so good.
and guess what? Guess who it's coming developed by? Team Ninja, who we just talked about with Neo 2 being a 9 out of 10. This is just their next game that they're working on,
Yep.
and I think they're going to do really well here with this one. And guess what? It's coming to Game Pass day 1. Another big
And
third party game
it's
coming to
so
Game
good.
Pass.
And it's coming so soon too. It's right around the corner.
Right. They also announced their official release date is March 3rd of next year. So that's about what 5 months away. It'll be here before we
Hmm.
know it. But speaking of the games that'll be here before we know it, because we didn't know it literally, was the game Somerville that I've been following since its announcement. I think since 2017, I think it is. This is a game that's being made by the ex developers from both the from Playdead Studios, which made Inside and Limbo, and this has like that dark, what the fuck is going on kind of gameplay,
Hmm.
and you're just kind of navigating. And in this game, you control like a family and a dog, and you're just trying to evade like ancient civilization and aliens, and there's just so much going on that just has you like, all right, I need to play this game and figure out what is really going on. But you might end the game and you probably still don't know what's going on because those who may have checked out my gameplay of Inside, if you've never played Inside, you get to the end, you're like,
What just happened?
what? I'm so good. Have you? Do you ever played Inside?
I have not. I've only heard good things about it though.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal game, but you really get to the. No, I'm not even going to spoil it. Definitely check it out. If you don't want to play it, go watch the gameplay. But definitely had me like, oh, okay, whatever. But this game is coming to. It's an Xbox and PC exclusive, and it will also be Game Pass day one. And this one is literally right around the corner. In like 2 weeks, right around the corner, November 15th of 2022. And I'm really, 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 really excited to play this game. It looks really good. So if you haven't checked it out, be on the lookout for that one in a couple weeks. But that's all of
Definitely.
our gaming news. But we got one rumor and leak this week. Not much going on. There was a leaked image showing that Discord voice integration with PS5 message has appeared. And interesting enough, like I don't know how Xbox even got that first before PlayStation. Because remember, PlayStation Discord signed that agreement, that collaboration that they got going on. They should have been the ones that got this stuff first, but Xbox did. So I'm really curious to see why that even happened. But we'll see. But it's awesome to see PlayStation's going to have that built in. Just makes sense, especially with all these games that have
Honestly,
cross-platform.
the fact that we finally have a cross-platform communication and cross-platform game, it just makes sense.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think like say like 5 years ago we were like we'll never see cross-platform. Nah, they don't want to do it. PlayStation was 100% against it. Xbox was like, come on guys, we can do it. Nintendo's like in the background like, yeah, you go, but like they're not going to be part of it really. But it's just like here we are. It happens. Most games are all cross play. The biggest concern now is like cross progression because Dom or Marshmallow here runs into a lot of problems there. Where like he'll play some games on his PC and then hop on Xbox or vice versa, and his progress never carries over for certain games. So it does suck for that.
Yeah, I know I complain about it too. I think one of the coolest ones is like Disney Dreamlight Valley. Doesn't natively support it. You actually have to go into your settings to enable it, but as soon as you do, it just works. It just works. And it's like, this is awesome. This is what I need. And it's like all you have to do is just buy it on the console you want, and then you can move it to whatever else console.
Right. So it definitely would just make sense to do it. But yeah, man, that's all the gaming rumors and leaks. Not much in regards to that, but we did want to cover one deep freeze moment here. So, this was like an article that I came across, and it had me curious because like there's always these negative connotations on gaming all the time. Like it's very negative. It's really bad for you. Blah blah blah. But there was this study that was done that shows that kids who play video games score higher on brain function tests.
Mhm.
What's your thoughts on this?
So I saw this news article all over the place. Like everyone's talking about it. And it just goes to show yet again another person confirms video games aren't bad for you. They actually help. And they talk about video games. You have to play about 3 hours a day, they said, for this to show. But if you play on average 3 hours a day, or a kid does play 3 hours a day, this actually shows that they get better cognitive function. It helps them to build those synapses. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing as doing a crossword puzzle, playing Sudoku,
Yeah.
just anything you do, like working with some Legos. It's that critical thinking skill that you build, and it helps with decision making as well as it helps with, you know, being able to effectively come to an answer for something or do something with forethought.
Mm-hmm.
It The study also showed that kids who play for an average of 3 hours a day have better decision making skills. And some of the comedians I watched said, well, when a kid tells you he fucked your mom, he really thought about it first. He didn't just say
Right.
it.
No doubt. But yeah, I definitely agree. I've actually covered this kind of stuff in my blog post that I do for Shoot to Win, like how like gaming it has so many benefits from mental health. Like it's a way for people to escape the maybe the struggles that they're dealing with in the real world. But gaming itself actually does build up a lot of things, both from teamwork. If you're playing competitive games, you got to work with your team. That also involves communication and in building a community. Like streaming builds a community. But yeah, the problem solving from trying to figure out, well, how do I get to this step? It's not even just that. It's how quickly can you get to that solution then too. Or like the quick reflexes, like Call of Duty, you have to be quick, otherwise you're just going to get annihilated. If you don't got quick reflexes, you're not going to be good there. So then that'll help out in different areas like driving, like your quick reaction and that, or whatever it is. Like there's
it's
tons of
it's just
benefits.
it's yeah, it builds your mental sort of ability to think quickly and on your feet. It builds critical thought, critical thinking, and just it is good for the person.
Right, and it's so crazy to see that so many people harp on gaming. Oh, it's so bad for you. It's so this and so that. But you can sit at home and watch a movie or binge watch a show for 8, 10 hours a day, and you think that that's okay. You're literally just sitting there, zombie state, just like at least gaming, like
Drool.
you're actually interacting with the game. Like my
Hmm.
game is an interactive movie or an interactive TV show. Like I feel invested. Like I'm actually making these decisions, or I'm watching decisions unfold in front of me. Like that stuff, and I had impact in that. It wasn't just like I watched it just happen. Like I made choices that led to this.
Hey, reading comprehension back in the day when we were kids, before all the voice acting and stuff now, you had to read everything. So like reading comprehension was built You learned words that just weren't a part of your vocabulary because they wanted to use them. Like just there were so many words that you may not have come across in like crappy kids books or like TV. It just you got so much more out of it. Like what did my sister gain from watching That So Raven that I somehow didn't gain from playing Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time? Like
Right,
I had to think, I had to problem solve. What did she do? She had to sit there and stare at the TV while drooling on herself.
right. It's crazy to think that gaming went from a very heavily negative thing to a more well-rounded, accepted. Like there's over
I
three
think
billion gamers in the world.
I think we owe a lot of the success in the gaming industry to Minecraft. I've got to say, hands down, Minecraft is the reason we are where we are today. I was actually looking at certifications, professional certifications for my industry in IT, and Minecraft is now a certifiable thing you can learn as an educator. There are
Hmm.
Microsoft certified courses for using Minecraft as an educational tool.
Yeah, Minecraft
You
is
can get
insane.
certified in Minecraft.
That's crazy. That's crazy to think about, honestly. But I
Yeah.
mean, Minecraft, like, you can do whatever you want in Minecraft. Like, people make full
People build
functioning
full
computers.
computers.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Oh my God.
And I love the memes that are making like this was really easy. I did this in like one night, and it's like this super complex redstone thing that they built, and you're like, yeah, no, definitely not. Like I don't know how to make doors, secret doors to open and
How about
close
the guy who built Minecraft in
in mine.
Minecraft? He built a computer to run Minecraft in Minecraft, and it took him like months or a year or whatever to build this redstone contraption. And I was like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah.
Dude, seriously.
Yeah, so there's definitely so much involved with gaming and just the benefits that can come out of this honestly in so many different aspects for sure. But yeah, man, I think that we can wrap it up here with our deep freeze moment and also in the episode, honestly. So we definitely want to thank everyone who did check us out live today and anyone who checks us out later on YouTube. But Roger, where can the viewers find you at?
Hey, if you don't know, I'm on twitch.tv and Twitter. On Twitch, I'm lunatic_oblivion, and on Twitter, you can find me at lunatic oblivion, all one word.
And I thought you were about to hit him with the biggie. If you don't know, now you know. But of course, everyone, you can check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin _ Xbox is X Never Space Chillin. You want a party game? Hit me up there. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and as of right now, we've been having tons of spots open. So definitely don't be afraid to hit me up there. Facebook is Vic Brubacher. Question, concerns, you want to come on the show as a guest? Hit me up there. And of course, I'm streaming my playthroughs of Modern Warfare 2's campaign. Maybe some multiplayer, and also got to finish up scoring this week over on my twitch.tv /Mr. Never Chillin. So be on the lookout for those notifications when I'm live. But we want to thank everyone again. But until next time, peace.